Hey guys, quick video today. Unfortunately, it's not a video about the Ford Performance tune that I have for this truck because it's still not installed. I went to a couple different Ford dealerships. The first 4 wouldn't even touch it, wouldn't install it. The 5th one said they would do it, but I had an issue with the voucher number not matching up or not being associated with my email address with Ford Performance account. So get the Ford Performance account ahead of time and make sure your voucher number is lined up with it before you take it somewhere to get it installed. And then when they finally got the new voucher number, the technician, the only technician at the dealership that knew how to do it, was in the hospital with kidney stones. So I feel bad for him. I'm not mad that he didn't come in with kidney stones, but I'm disappointed that I couldn't drive my truck around with that cool new tune, hopefully Monday. In the meantime, I got this, what I think is a really cool case on the bed of my truck, with some gear that was rattling around in the bed and making a total ruckus. So now it's well secured up here. When I was looking for a case, I was looking at Pelican and a company called Roam. Pelican makes a 1570 rifle case, 1570 series rifle case, but it's like $300. So that's not unheard of for Pelican cases, but when I saw this Apache from Harbor Freight for $127, I compared the two, and really the big difference in it is the clips. The build quality is pretty similar. The hinges are almost the same. The handles are pretty much identical. The material feels pretty darn similar. Maybe it's different, but I don't know. But the latches are the hard part. So the latches on this are definitely not as nice as the Pelican, but this is less than half the cost. The other one I was looking at, which I really wanted, I had in my shopping cart, I almost pulled the trigger on it, is the Roam 83-liter case. But that thing is $369, and the mounting gear is another $220. So you're looking at $590 to get a case on the back of your truck, which if I had money just to throw away, I would have gotten that in a heartbeat because it's awesome. It's a little bit wider, it's a little bit taller, and it has pneumatic struts on the lid, so when it opens up, it opens to 90 degrees and just stays there, which is super cool. It's also a lot more substantial. The lid is like blown molded plastic, so it's more rigid. You could probably stand on the thing and it probably protects your gear a lot better. But I'm not keeping cameras or computers or anything in here. I have a couple aluminum poles and a hammock. So I didn't buy the fancy Roam one. I went with this just to see if I liked it, because for 127 bucks, I figured it's worth trying. And I mounted it with some bolts that I bought off Amazon. I'm just using the T-slots that are in the Yakima roof rack that I already have. So basically, I put bolts in the T-slots. I drilled 2 holes on either side of this thing. The bolts go through it with a rubber washer on both sides to sandwich in there and keep it airtight. And then just put a nut on there, and I cut the top of the bolt off so it wasn't sticking in there. But I mean, it's solid. It shakes the whole truck, and it's not sliding, it's not moving or anything. So I'm really happy with it. So inside of it, what I have in here, let's bring you over and I'll show you. All right, so inside, I've got my hammock set up. This is a shade. This is my hammock. These are straps if I have trees, and if I don't have trees, underneath here, I've got all my aluminum poles that go into my adventure hammock system set up here. That's what I'm talking about. This is so cool. And it's awesome. I love this thing. I use it whenever I'm at the farm waiting for my kids. But the reason I got this, like I said, I used to throw these aluminum poles in the bed of my truck. 4 of them fit in the case it came with, 2 of them do not fit, and they would just rattle around. They would make a huge amount of noise. It would make it sound like the suspension was falling apart, and it would ruin a lot of the audio for the videos I would make, because what I do is I take a microphone with a magnet and stick it right here so you can get that really cool exhaust noise. You don't hear me inside driving. You don't hear like all the crap I have on the seat next to me rattling around. But when I had those metal poles back here, it would sound like the suspension was falling apart. You'd hear all this clunking and it just sounded terrible. And I'll put a clip of it because it's really frustrating, because the video could have been super cool. But but you hear this banging around and you just assume that the truck is falling apart, which is not the case at all. So now I have this case here. It's good to go. It doesn't rattle around. And then, I don't even remember if I mentioned this, but all the mounting hardware is inside of it. So the bolts are inside. So if I were to throw a lock on here, and maybe also a lock on here, it would deter someone from actually trying to get in here, get all the stuff out of it, and possibly even just take the whole case. But you know, that's just a little thing. It's every little deterrent makes it a little bit better. So anyway, this is it. I'll show you how I put it on here. I'll put a couple links to the different stuff on there as well. And I think this thing is gonna work perfectly for what I have. I mean, $200 worth of gear in a $127 case is a lot better than putting $200 worth of gear in a $590 case, even though the $590 case would look a lot cooler. This is not an overly involved install, so I'm just going to do a really fast video. Got to take everything out of the case, measure exactly where the halfway mark is, get the distance between the two rails with T-slots. Basically, I mark that out and then I drill some holes through it. And then I got to get up there and actually make sure it fits. So I do that, get 2 of the bolts on that side before I drill the other side, because I want to make sure, you know, measure twice, cut once kind of thing. So doing the other holes, I drilled the last one through the bottom, and then I just throw the T-bolts down there with the washer on the bottom, get the thing on top, and then I put them through, tighten the bolts on top, and then I grabbed a hacksaw, and actually, once I got everything tight with some Loctite, I cut the bolts off because they were sticking up like a solid inch. But I tried a hacksaw, I tried a file, and eventually I just got a Dremel, but my camera cut off because it was way too hot. So once that was done, that was pretty much it. And then here's the rest of the video of me driving my truck. So the install video is over. The next 13 minutes is just my truck on this really cool trail out in Virginia.
It's over! It's over!